Hi, I'm Pete Schellenbach, culinary specialist with Vulcan, and we're in the test kitchen today to talk about the Vulcan VEG50 Fryer and mobile filtration. The Vulcan VEG50 is part of our economy line. As the name suggests, the VEG50 is a 50-pound vat, whereas the VEG35 is a 35-pound vat. With that extra size comes an extra heat exchanger, a little extra power to make sure that that extra oil is all the way up to temperature. Just because it's an economy fryer, though, doesn't mean that it isn't covered by warranty. There's a limited 1-year parts and labor warranty on the entire fryer. If a leak occurs within the first year, we'll replace the entire fryer. And if that leak occurs after the first year, but within 5 years, we will cover based on a prorated formulation from the date of installation. So I'm here in front of the VEG50, and as you can see, we are ENERGY STAR certified. One of the ways that that affects your operation in a real way is that we have a much lower flue temperature than a standard fryer. The Vulcan VEG50 operates between 800 and 900 degrees of flue temperature, whereas a standard fryer is 1,000 to 1,200. Because we're obviously so much lower, that means that we're being more efficient in the way that we're using the gas. Also, that helps in your operation because it makes it easier to balance your HVAC system where there isn't quite so much heat in the kitchen on a regular basis. So now I'm gonna open the door and show you what the insides of the VEG50 look like. Starting at the bottom of the fryer is the millivolt controller. The advantage of having a millivolt controller is that we don't need to have the VEG50 attached to an electrical source of any kind. That means that if you want to put the fryer somewhere on your line that doesn't have an outlet, you can move the VEG50 to that spot because you don't need an electrical outlet to run this fryer. The millivolt controller will control the oil temperature from 200 to 400 degrees, which gives your operation plenty of flexibility with the frying that you might need to do. Above the millivolt controller are the 4 heat exchangers in the VEG50 as opposed to 3 heat exchangers in the VEG35. That extra heat exchanger is used because we have more oil, and so we've got a little extra power to make sure that oil comes up to temperature quickly, that the recovery is faster, and that you stay operating as efficiently as possible. And then above and in front of the heat exchangers is the drain. Off to the side here on the door is the drain extender. That is used to safely extend the reach of the drain so that you can drain the oil at the end of your shift into the filtration unit. And Mike Conway, the BDM of fryers, is going to be speaking about that later in this video to show you how the mobile filtration system works. I want to get started cooking, and I've chosen some items today that are going to show the versatility of the VEG50 with relation to day part, right? I'm going to do some breakfast, I'm going to do some lunch, I'm going to do some desserts. What I'm going to start with is some breakfast tots. I'm going to fry some tater tots, and then I'm going to top those with bacon, egg, and cheese. And I'm also going to do a special Maryland version that's going to have some crab meat on those. So I don't know if my microphone is strong enough to pick up the sound of the fryer actually coming on, but what I know standing here working on this fryer is that it has already come back up to temperature. So I dropped the tater tots into the oil, and the Vulcan VEG50 with the extra power of that 4th heat exchanger brought the oil temperature right back up to 350, so I'm getting the maximum production out of this piece of equipment. So my tater tots are finished. I'm gonna pull those up. Great golden brown color. And now I'm gonna go over and make those breakfast tots. So I made 2 versions of breakfast tots, a bacon, egg, and cheese version that has an over easy egg on top. And then the second version was sort of a nod to the Baltimore heritage here at Vulcan. I put jumbo lump crab on those tots, also with some cheese and an over easy egg. So the next thing I'm going to do in the VEG50 is 2 kinds of wings. I'm going to do a more upscale wing where I've Frenched out the bone, made like sort of a lollipop with it. and then I'm going to do some more traditional, just regular fried wings. But that, again, back to the versatility of how you use a piece of equipment like this. I can do it through different day parts, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or I can do it, I can use a fryer like this for more fine dining applications or higher end restaurants versus a more casual atmosphere. So one of the things you'll notice when you're using the VEG50 is how fast this fryer runs. I mentioned before about the cooler flue temperature, and what that means is that as the gas is burning, more of the gas energy, more of the heat energy is going into the tank and then into the oil rather than coming up the flue. So that translates to faster recovery times, so I get better quality food. It also translates to cost savings as far as heat up. In the morning when I turn the fryer on, it comes up to temp much faster, gets ready to go, so I'm not spending money during that process once it comes up to idle. I also have lower gas usage during idle with the VEG50, which again saves money for your operation. The wings are starting to float up towards the surface of the oil. So that's one cue to know that the food in a fryer is finished. The other actually is the sound. I was actually trained to fry calamari not by the time or by the color of it, but by how it sounded. The pitch changes pretty drastically when food is finished. So we'd all love to have that crystal ball to know what orders are coming next. But what that means is your fryer has to be ready for whatever order comes in. The VEG50, because of its fast recovery time and its great idle, is ready to go right now. So I'm going to go ahead and drop an order of churros in right now, and then go over and plate the wings, then come back and get the churros and plate the churros. Okay, so my churros are finished frying up. You can see that I was using like a convenience product, an already pre-formed churro. Again, it's a versatile piece of equipment. I can go from fresh, raw foods. I can do frozen convenience foods. I can do all sorts of things in a fryer. But the Vulcan VEG50 definitely has the power to give me the results that I need regardless of what food I need to fry. So here I've got a more upscale version of wings where I've Frenched out the bones. It's sitting on a bed of blue cheese fondue. And here I've got a more standard style of wings that have a bourbon maple sauce, and it's served with both ranch and blue cheese. And here I've got churros topped with dulce de leche. Now that we're finished frying all this food, we're gonna need to filter the fryer. The way that you save oil through your day, through your process, is by filtering as much as possible. And Vulcan has made that easy with an accessory that is a mobile fry filter. Mike Conway, the BDM of fryers, is going to show us how that gets used here in just a second.
Thank you, Chef Pete. My name is Mike Conway. I am the Business Development Manager for our fryers, griddles, and broilers based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Going to talk to you today about our mobile filtration. Now that Chef Pete is done for the time being of frying, he's asked me to clean the filter, which normally I would not be happy with. But because of our mobile filtration, it's going to be a lot easier for me to do and a lot safer for me to do as well. So first thing I want to show you is our metal mesh screen. What this is going to do is take care of some of the larger particles that come from frying. This is great for anything except when you start doing proteins. So as we saw, we did tater tots, we did churros. So this is going to be great for filtering what I can see. But today I've added our fabric filter, which is going to go to a level that I cannot see. So any of those molecules coming off those chicken wings will now be captured when I filter the oil. Using our drain extension, this is going to allow the oil to go into our crumb tray. So all I'm doing is screwing this in. Okay, got that nice and tight. So what's going to happen is once I start draining, we're going to go into our crumb tray first. This is going to capture all those large particles that I can see. It's going to sift through there, go into our fabric filter to get all those particles that I cannot see. So what we're going to do is open our drain. Okay. So as you can see, we're going through our crumb tray first. Remember, safety is the key always when you're filtering your oil. And you can see we empty out pretty quick. 50 pounds of oil coming out. This will hold up to 110 pounds of oil. Once this finishes draining, I'm going to go ahead and close that valve, and I'm going to pump all the oil back in now that it's gone through the filter. Now this pump will do 8 gallons per minute. So you can see this is a very quick process. So even though Chef Pete gave me one of the hardest jobs in the kitchen, I'm okay with it because it's really not taking me that long. All right, so again, safety first. Make sure my valve is closed. So grabbing it, keeping it steady, flipping my pump, and I'm just going to hold this down, keeping it away from me at all times. Remember, this is 350-degree oil, so always remember safety. Now the advantages of us filtering this once, twice, 3 times a day, depending on what kind of proteins we're throwing in there, is my oil is going to last longer. That's putting money back into the operator's pocket. It's providing for a better dining experience for their guests. And you see we're just about to the top. All right, now remembering that this pipe just had hot oil in there, keeping my gloves on, I'm going to remove my pipe. Put it right there on the built-in holder in my door. And now I'm going to turn my fryer back on, get that back set for 350 degrees. Now, just as easy as it was to use the mobile filtration on my fryer, it's just as easy to clean the mobile filtration unit. Every piece will come off. Our crumb basket comes right off. Our pieces here come right off. And the really nice thing is I can now take this to my Hobart dishwasher, run it through the dish, clean it up, put it back together, and I'm ready for the next filtration. As you saw with the VEG50, it's very versatile. From breakfast, lunch, dinner, and anything in between. From bar food all the way up to fine dining. So by adding the millivolt controller on our VEG50, we do not need an electrical hookup. This allows you to place it anywhere on the line that you have a gas connection. Providing your customer with peace of mind, add on our free equipment checkout provided by Hobart and/or an authorized service agent within the first 90 days of installation.